Hey, I'm D. Grant Smith, the relationship growth farmer, and I help sensitive people step into their power to grow healthy and loving relationships. I believe that what you plant in your mind garden and in your heart garden is what you're going to produce with your life. And so, what I do is show you how to plant love inside yourself so that love is all around you all the time because love is who you are. I've got a lot of helpful tools for you this time around. And if you want even more from me, all you have to do is click the description below. You'll see that I've got some private coaching options for you, along with some free training and all kinds of ways that you can connect with me and get plugged into more relationship growth farming. So, what I want to talk with you about today is this idea about true love and a true love relationship. Here's the thing, true love and the true love relationship is probably not what you think it is. I'm sure you've probably watched a ton of movies, probably Disney fairy tale stories where the hero rescues the girl and they fall in love like that. Or maybe there's some tension that builds over time, and as that tension builds, the love grows, and then they ride off into the sunset forever and ever in love. Sounds pretty awesome, right? And most of us want to experience that, don't we? But here's the thing, the fairy tale and fairy tale aspects of our life can come into play. But the fairy tale story overall, where everything just ends magically and the connection happens magically and there's not any difficulty, oh, that's the myth right there. In our true love relationship, we imagine that we're bound and we're bonded to each other in this really powerful and fixed way. And we think that it's in this fixed way where nothing's ever going to change. But it turns out that true love is not the relationship that we believe it is. It's a connection that transcends all of our other relationships. We want to be attached, we want to be cemented together so that nothing ever can tear us apart. Yet, how strong is cement? Or even if we extend the analogy a little bit further out to something like super glue or gorilla glue, how strong is that? Is it completely impossible for us to tear something apart that has been cemented or glued together? The stuff that you put between two fixed objects to permanently bind them together so that they can't come apart or detach from each other. That's what we think we need to have, or that's what we think we're going to have when we enter into a true love relationship. But treating relationships, particularly the one that you have with that one special and chosen person, like they're just fixed objects that can be bound together or cemented or glued with some sort of external source, this is what leads us into dangerous territory. In the scope of looking at this direction or this connection through a relationship lens, let's look at marriage. Not all true love relationships are marriages in the conventional or even the traditional sense, and I'll get to that point in just a minute. But not all marriages are a true love connection. The important distinction here is how they operate and what is actually holding together this seemingly cosmic dance of union and partnership and genuine connection. Marriages don't end because of external factors, even if there are external factors present when everything comes apart. Financial loss, betrayal, cheating, abandonment. We all think that these are the causes of the end of a marriage or the end of a committed relationship. And so we point our finger at these things and we say, that's why the relationship failed. That's why it went to hell. But trust me, that's not entirely true. It's not that the glue that bound you together was broken apart by some sort of outside force that eroded the connection and it kept your bond from staying strong and intact. It's that something internal caused the dissolution, caused the breakup of that connection, and it happened from within. And often this is because you were holding on to this idea that you were glued together, and that's what made the relationship work. That you believed that there was some sort of glue that held you together. It is marriage, but it's not what you think it is. So let's look at that again and not fixate on marriage itself, but use that as a reference point to what most of us consider to be the ultimate committed relationship. When you get down to the truth of it all, marriage is not a bond between two people who just decide to unite themselves with each other in holy matrimony. Instead, marriage is an internal commitment that you make with yourself to stand true in love no matter what. In a marriage partnership between two people, it's a commitment that you make with your partner to survive every storm that's going to come into your world individually and collectively. It's an internal decision that you choose to partner with each other in the good and the blissful times of life where everything is just perfect and doesn't seem like anything could ever go wrong. But you also choose to remain solidified together when life throws cosmic haymaker knockout punches that crush you in indescribable ways. It's a commitment that is made within yourself first, within your own heart, within your own mind, within your own body, and your own spirit, so that you can be true to yourself. And because you're true to yourself, you can be true to someone else, come what may. So you extend that commitment verbally and in writing to your special person, and you make it known to them that you are choosing to honor and respect and hold them securely through every experience that life may bring you. That's what true marriage is. And it doesn't have to happen in a chapel or even at an altar with a minister and your family and your friends there. It happens in this energetic connection between your mind and your heart and your spirit and your body, between two living beings who choose to commit fully their whole selves to the love that they are individually. And they choose that commitment as an individual to make that together. There's a very high level of risk and freedom here. And this is why the true love connection goes beyond the traditional understanding of relationship or the traditional understanding of marriage, from both a cultural perspective of suits and dresses and chapels and ministers and flowers and dancing, fairy tales and fantasy. We often associate fantastic weddings with the start of a lifelong commitment between two people. But that commitment and the fantasy fairy tale elements are not a one-time agreement. Instead, they're a decision that you make each and every day, and you make it within yourself. And the real marriage that you have is just that. It's with you. This means that the true love commitment is also an internal one that you have with yourself before it's ever a solid commitment that you make to somebody else. Because when you betray yourself, you betray your partner. The reason why self-love is the ultimate force to keep relationships strong is because love is the energy that transcends nearly all other forces in energy. If you ever were to look at the emotional energy chart, at the very bottom of that, ranked at an energy level of 20, is shame. And it moves up to guilt at 30, apathy at 50, grief at 75, fear is 100, 125 is desire, anger is 150, pride is 175, courage is 200, neutrality is 250, willingness is 310, acceptance is 350, reason is 400, and you get up to 500, and that's where you reach the energetic level of love. Now, you might be wondering, okay, love is 500. Is there anything above that? Well, yeah, there's a couple things. There's joy, that's 540. There's peace, that's 600. And enlightenment is considered to be at an energy level of 700 and above. So if you look at that scale of energy and the scale of energy strength, what you see at the very bottom, like I said a second ago, is shame, and it transitions up from an upward pyramid. Now, as you move up, once again, you get to guilt, apathy, grief, and fear. All of these are considered to be a part of the alpha state of consciousness. And these are energies that are prevalent throughout our whole society and our whole culture. The more present that these energies, once again, shame, doubt, fear, apathy, the more these energies are present in our lives, the more dysfunction and the more struggle and more difficulties we're going to experience. So when fear is present, you're guaranteed to experience trouble. Fear is an internal difficulty that arises from trauma from our life experiences, from our judgments, from our assumptions, from our criticisms, from our negative beliefs. Everything lower than fear on an energy basis has a more negative energetic vibration, meaning it takes away from the strength of the connection and it subtracts from your own energy field. If fear is present in your relationship, what it's going to do is it's going to erode the bond that you have with your partner, to the point where you're going to question them at every turn. You're not going to trust their intentions. You're not going to trust their behavior. You're not going to trust what they say. And internally, you might work to separate from them energetically. So If you had this belief that there was some sort of gorilla glue bond that held you together when you made that commitment to each other, whether that was on your wedding day or whether it was when you officially became a couple, what happens when fear is present is it dissolves whatever that glue is that you believe is holding things together, because it's undoing your beliefs and your thoughts and your ideas and your feelings. All of it is driven by that root of fear. Because here's the thing, thoughts create things. And if you're feeling fear in a relationship, especially one that is soul connected and bonded, as a committed relationship is, the things that your thoughts can create will work against your bond, especially if fear is at the root of that. This is the real cause of betrayal, the real cause of rejection, and the real cause of abandonment. It's the real cause of why relationships end, especially in marriage. The wedding ring that you wear, that's not the thing that binds you to your partner. Neither does your photo album or the pictures of your family on your wedding day, all the pictures on your phone of the lovely times that you've had together, all the romantic dates you've been on. That's not what binds you together. What binds you together is your shared energy of love and the commitment that you make every day to strengthen and guard and nurture that connection through your thoughts and your beliefs and your attitude and your trust and the love that you have for and with each other. All of these elements are for and within yourself. The true love relationship isn't like Gorilla Glue, and it's not like cement. It's like the relationship that the tide has with the moon. Where is the glue that connects the ocean to the heavens? What causes the tide to rise and fall? What causes the waves of the ocean to spread across the whole earth in an ever-flowing manner that brings life and beauty to the world as a whole? It's the energetic exchange taking place between the gravitational pull of the moon with the fluidity of the water on the earth. The rising tide lifts all ships, as the saying goes. Water is one of the biggest examples of pure freedom that we can ever experience. The ocean is a beautiful and poetic example of this fluid freedom and a picture of the truest form of relationship depth that we can achieve. Every day, the ocean waves rise and they fall and they flow in and they kiss the shoreline. Winds move the water to and fro. As certain energies build and grow, those winds can increase at massive levels, which make waves that swell into enormous size. Regular storms can become tropical storms, and then those can become hurricanes. The forces that move such massive systems of wind and rain and water are not fixed or sealed by a visible force. It's all energy. And there's a freedom here in this energy that is powerful beyond comparison and powerful beyond our imaginations. So when we try to control the connection that we have with energy, connection can come unglued. This is why so many relationships are volatile and often dysfunctional. When one person attempts to control the way their partner lives, thinks, operates, or behaves, things are going to get tense. And those internal decisions of trust and faith and commitment, they're going to be strained. So if you put strain or you put tension on a bond of any kind, guess what's going to happen? It's going to crack and it's potentially going to break. The energy that is there to form that bond doesn't allow for the ebb and flow of life to happen. Control isn't about ebb and flow. It's about being fixed in one place. And again, if we're going to play this metaphor out even more, that bond, that glue that we try to keep our relationship together often is a form of control. And that's why it doesn't work. Freedom is an inherent desire that every person has to live and be and do and operate as they please. Every relationship is a dance in this way. And you can try to be firmly stuck together with the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. But if you don't allow for freedom to exist between the two of you and work in the flow of that freedom, there's going to be more struggle in that connection. There's going to be more struggle than there will be happiness or blessing or peace. So notice what happens as you climb up higher on that energy pyramid. Desire is above fear. Isn't that unusual? We have to consider the desire to be a really good thing, but desire can have a negative pull because so much of desire is wanting things to look and feel and operate a certain way. And that's another element of control. Anger and pride are higher levels of energy, but we're still dealing with elements that work against cohesion and they work against unity. So bring anger into your relationship, and what's going to happen? You know the results of that. Courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance. These are all higher energetic levels above all this other stuff. And in that exchange, there's still cohesion that can take place. There's a willingness here to operate within a framework of freedom and a framework of harmony. You can accept your partner and the differences that you have. You can give them freedom to be themselves without trying to change them into the version of who you want them to be or who you feel like they're supposed to be. How do we do this? Well, one key is to surrender our pride and surrender our ego. And we do this by being fully present with our person, listening with intention and listening with focus. Remove distractions. Here's my cell phone. When I'm hanging out with people, especially when I'm hanging out with my person, that goes in my pocket and it doesn't come out because I am intentional about being fully present with the people that I'm with. Now, after you've chosen to remove distractions and focus entirely on your interaction, choose to send them love from your heart, regardless of what their attitude is toward you. And that's how you keep that bond strong. Now, if you're thinking, wait, hold on, give them love regardless of what their attitude is towards me? How's that even possible? Doesn't my partner have a responsibility and a need to be a positive and affirming, loving, supportive person to me because they're my partner? If they're not encouraging or loving or giving to me when I want and I need them, doesn't that give me a right to withhold from them too? No, it doesn't. Not at all. Here's why. Remember, self-love is the basis of a healthy relationship. A true love connection is formed and solidified as a commitment that you make to yourself internally. That's the truth. You choose to honor, you choose to respect, you choose to love, you choose to value, you choose to commit to, you choose to be unfailingly devoted to yourself, and you choose love as your highest calling because love is who you are. Doing so puts you in an energetic connection with the divine forces of love and joy and peace. This kind of energetic connection serves as a magnetic field that attracts and flows and converts energy into its likeness. It's how you can be with your partner who might be scared and might be unsure. And you can turn that scared, fearful, nervous, unsure energy from darkness into light. Here's the thing, my friend. You are an alchemist of energy. You're able to turn anything into love. This is the power of the true love connection. The energetic pull of your love force rises the tide and brings goodness into your relationship, regardless of what external forces may be attempting to come against you individually or come against you collectively. And if you're thinking, okay, man, this all sounds great, but what if you've been abandoned? What if you've been betrayed by your partner? Are you supposed to convert that pain into love? Is it your responsibility to make everything right because they walked away, for you to chase after them and try to make the relationship right, even though they're the ones that left you or they're the one that betrayed you? Or is it your job to fix the other person so that they don't treat you in non-loving ways? No, it's not. This is a hard thing for many people to process because they take the commitment made at the altar or the commitment that they made to their person very seriously. And this is why not all marriages are true love connections. But we don't always see that on the front end. Often this is because we don't know what love truly is, nor do we know how to foster it within ourselves. The lack of love that you have for yourself or your inability to love yourself first, that is what creates the tension. That can prevent you from being able to reestablish a connection with your partner. that converts darkness into light. So guess what? If your inability to know how to love yourself fully has created tension that's caused them to pull away, it's likely that their inability to know how to love themselves has caused them to pull away. And it might prevent both of you from coming back together again. This is why the ultimate commitment that you can ever make, the real marriage that you have, is within you. The real marriage that you have is to yourself. It's your connection to the divine, to God, to the source of all love, source of all life, and your connection and your commitment to yourself. It's from this connection where you are actually the recipient of the love that you seek. Your partner's job, your partner's role is not to be the source for love. It's not to be the source for acceptance or the source for peace or the source for joy or fulfillment or courage. That energetic supply comes from God as the divine source of all of life. True love is the true source and cause of all healing. The magnetism of this powerful force is the gravitational pull that draws more goodness into your connection. Love has the power to convert negative energy into positive energy. What was darkness can be transmuted into light. It can happen in an instant, and it can happen over a lifetime. When there's a break in a relationship, there will be emotional pain. So how do you deal with that pain so that you can be whole and experience the love of your dreams? You have to start by giving yourself that love, by choosing to commit fully to the divine of God that lives within you. And from there, build a strong connection to your true source from within. When two people commit fully to be expressions of this divine love from within them, they share in that harmonic, energetic connection. And that's what overcomes obstacles. That's what fosters a strong connection, despite what outside forces can come and work against them. This commitment is internal, it's energetic, it's deliberate, and it's intentional. And it requires effort and commitment continuously to really be able to operate in wholeness, which means it's sometimes going to be really challenging. Sometimes it's going to be really freaking difficult. And it's going to feel like it's almost impossible to do, which is the human story. So juxtapose this truth with any endeavor that involves growth or strength, from exercise or growing a business or even gardening. It requires practice, repeated actions, and intention, focus, and attention. You can't take your eye off the ball and expect to hit a home run, or even hit a hole in one, or fill in whatever sports metaphor you want. Working on yourself is nurturing and strengthening the connection that you have with the divine love that you are. That is what you bring to your relationship. That's what makes it strong. That's what makes it lasting, and that's what makes it powerful. It's also what makes it harmonious. This is the tide that dances with the moon energetically through this beautiful and cosmic display of invisible energy. So how do you find real, true love? True love is the relationship that you have with yourself first. I'll repeat that again. True love is the relationship that you have with you. The lifelong commitment that you make begins with you. So choose yourself every day. Make that commitment every day. Choose to love yourself first. And this may mean that you need to learn what love truly is, because so many things that are untrue about what a good relationship is, or even what love is, comes from this complete misunderstanding that we have about love. When you grow in love with yourself, the right relationship will find you without you having to search for it, without you having to chase it, without you having to be working constantly on how you're going to make it work. Divine timing works in this way, and the relationship will likely develop in a way that you don't even expect. But love will be the roots of the tree that you grow together, and changes will come. Challenges will come, difficulties will come. Unlike the fairy tale Disney stories, there will be obstacles that will happen in that relationship, not just before it begins. But you will be like an oak tree, which can handle the hurricane winds of life. And with the true love that you are, Your partner will support and strengthen you as you face life together. True love is not what you think, it's much better. It's within yourself before it's ever true with another person. So, how can you be love to yourself? How can you attract the person that's perfect for you into your life? How can you grow in the loving relationship that you have through the art of self love? How can you learn how, even bigger than that, how can you learn what love truly is so that you can know how to give it to yourself fully? This is what I've been teaching my clients and students with over the past year through the Be Solid training program. And I'd love for you to be a part of that. If you want, click on the link below that says personal coaching, or go to the link I have below that says Be Solid training program application. All we're going to do is sit down and have about a 45-minute conversation where we're going to dig into your story. The conversation we'll have is completely free. I'll tell you everything about the program. I'll also give you some powerful tools that you can use right now in your relationship to learn how to love yourself. I appreciate you. I believe in you. You, my friend, are worth fighting for. I love you, and I'll see you soon.